10 years after Nathan Sterling canceled his wedding, he received a letter from the one woman he had promised himself he would never speak to again. He almost threw it away. Then he saw the handwriting. Vivian Laurent. His hand stopped. There was no return address. No explanation. No apology. Only one sentence was written inside. You were right about me, but you were wrong about why I did it. Nathan read it twice. Then a photograph slipped from the envelope and landed on his desk. It was taken the night of the engagement party. The night a little girl named Lily had walked into a ballroom carrying a paper flower. Nathan stared at the photograph. His eyes moved across the crowd. Vivian stood near the staircase. Maria was holding Lily. Nathan stood several feet away. And behind him, someone was watching. Someone Nathan had known for more than 15 years. Someone who should never have been there. Nathan whispered, "No." He turned the photograph over. 3 words were written on the back. "Look behind you." For 10 years, Nathan had believed he understood that night. He had believed Vivian's cruelty had been the beginning and end of the story. But now, for the first time, he wondered whether the worst thing that happened that evening had occurred when everyone was looking at Lily. Because someone else had been watching Nathan. And that person had been hiding in plain sight. Nathan immediately called Eleanor. "Come to my office." She heard something in his voice. "Is everything all right?" "No." A pause. "What's happened?" "Vivian contacted me." The silence on the other end lasted several seconds. "I thought she disappeared." "So did I." Nathan placed the photograph on his desk. "She sent me this." Eleanor arrived 15 minutes later. She picked up the photograph. Her expression changed immediately. "You recognize him?" Nathan nodded. "That's Daniel Cross." Eleanor stared at him. "Your former chief financial officer. My closest advisor for 11 years. The man who left Sterling Global 2 years after your wedding was canceled." Nathan looked at the photograph again. Why would Vivian photograph him? Eleanor's voice dropped. "I don't think she did." Nathan looked at her. "What do you mean?" Eleanor pointed to the corner of the image. "Look." A tiny reflection appeared in the ballroom window. A camera. Someone had taken the photograph from across the room. Nathan's face hardened. This wasn't a party photograph. No. It was surveillance. Eleanor nodded. Someone was documenting everyone. Nathan sat down slowly. "Why?" Before Eleanor could answer, Nathan's phone rang. It was Lily. He answered immediately. "Lily?" Her voice sounded different. "Mr. Nathan, are you alone?" He stood. "Yes." "Why?" "Because something happened at the foundation." Nathan's expression changed. "What happened?" "A file disappeared." "Which file?" Lily hesitated. "Mine." Nathan's heart dropped. "Your project." "Not just the project." She lowered her voice. "Everything." The Sterling Foundation had grown enormously over the decade. What began as Nathan's attempt to help families like the one he had grown up in had become a global organization funding schools, scholarships, housing projects, and community centers. Lily had joined it after university. She had refused to simply accept a position because of Nathan. Instead, she had earned one. Her architectural projects focused on affordable housing. Her latest project was the biggest of her career. A development that would create hundreds of homes for families who had been priced out of the city. And now the entire project file had vanished. Nathan drove to the foundation himself. When he arrived, Lily was waiting outside the conference room. She looked calm. Too calm. "What happened?" "I don't know." She handed him a folder. "Someone accessed my private drive at 2:13 this morning. Security. They're checking." Nathan looked at the access log. His eyes narrowed. The account used to access Lily's files belonged to someone with executive clearance. "Who is this level of access?" Lily answered. 6 people. Nathan looked at her. "Name them." She did. Then she stopped. "There's one more." Nathan waited. "My mentor." "Who?" "Daniel Cross." Nathan froze. The same man in Vivian's photograph. The same man who had vanished from Nathan's company years earlier. Lily noticed his reaction. "You know him." "I do." "How well?" Nathan didn't answer. Lily stepped closer. "Mr. Nathan, what's going on?" He looked at her. For the first time since she was 7 years old, she saw genuine fear in his eyes. I don't know yet. Lily shook her head. You do. Nathan remained silent. She pressed him. You're protecting me. I'm trying to. From what? He looked away. From something I should have discovered 10 years ago. Lily stared at him. Then she said quietly, then tell me. Nathan finally handed her Vivian's photograph. Lily studied it. Who is that? Daniel Cross. Her expression changed. That's impossible. Why? Because Daniel recruited me. Nathan looked at her. He recruited you? 2 years ago. The room went silent. Lily turned the photograph over. She read Vivian's message. Her eyes widened. Who is Vivian? Nathan swallowed. My former fiancée. Lily looked at him. The woman from the party? Yes. The woman who humiliated me? Nathan nodded. Lily stared at the photograph again. Why would she warn you now? Nathan didn't know. And that was the problem. That night, Nathan returned home and found another envelope waiting on his desk. No security alert. No camera footage. No explanation. Inside was a handwritten letter. Nathan read it slowly. I know you hate me. You should. But I never hated that little girl. Nathan stopped. His eyes moved to the next line. I hated what your money had attracted. He continued. Daniel was already watching your company before our engagement. I discovered it months before the party. Nathan's breathing changed. I tried to tell you. You wouldn't listen. So I did something unforgivable. I made you hate me enough to walk away. Nathan stared at the page. His hands began to shake. The final paragraph was shorter. Your wedding wasn't the target. Lily was. Nathan dropped the letter. For several seconds, he couldn't move. Then his phone rang. It was Lily. He answered. She was whispering. Mr. Nathan. Where are you? At the foundation. Leave immediately. I can't. Why? Because someone locked the doors. Nathan grabbed his keys. Call security. I did. And? They're not answering. Nathan ran toward the garage. Lily, listen to me. I'm listening. Stay inside the office. Lock yourself in. Mr. Nathan. What? I found something. What? Her voice trembled. A second file. Nathan stopped. What does it contain? I don't know. Open it. I already did. Silence. What did you find? Lily whispered 4 words. Your mother's name. Nathan went completely still. His mother had been dead for more than 30 years. Nobody at the foundation should have had a file on her. Read it. I can't. Why? Because it's marked confidential. Nathan's voice became urgent. Lily read it. She swallowed. Then she said, It says your mother wasn't helped by a stranger when you were a child. Nathan's face drained of color. What? It says the person who paid for your mother's medical treatment. She stopped. Lily. It was Daniel Cross. Nathan's entire understanding of his past collapsed in one sentence. The man he trusted. The man who had helped build his empire. The man standing behind him in that photograph. He had been there before the empire existed. And suddenly Nathan understood why Vivian had written those words. You were right about me. But you were wrong about why. Nathan drove through the city at terrifying speed. His phone rang again. This time, it wasn't Lily. It was Vivian. He answered. What do you want? Her voice was calm. I want you to stop looking. Nathan tightened his grip on the steering wheel. You knew. I knew enough. You knew Lily was being watched. Yes. You knew Daniel was involved. Yes. Then why did you wait 10 years? Vivian was silent. When she finally spoke, her voice broke. Because the night of your engagement party wasn't the first time Daniel threatened someone I loved. Nathan's eyes narrowed. Who? Vivian whispered. Me. The call ended. Nathan stared at the road ahead. Then his phone displayed a new message. A photograph. Lily. Taken only minutes earlier. She was standing inside the foundation office. Behind her, the lights were off. And someone was standing in the hallway behind her. Nathan slammed the brakes. The photograph had been taken from inside the building. Someone was already there. Nathan called Lily. She answered immediately. Mr. Nathan? Don't move. Why? Because you're not alone. Lily looked toward the dark hallway. How do you know? Nathan stared at the photograph. Because I can see him. Lily's breathing became shallow. Who? Nathan looked at the figure in the image. He recognized the face. And this time, it wasn't Daniel Cross. It was someone much closer to him. Someone who had been beside Nathan every step of the way. Nathan whispered, Eleanor. The line went silent. Then Lily said, Mr. Nathan. What? Eleanor is standing right outside my door. Nathan's blood ran cold. And then the lights inside the foundation went out. If you think Nathan should trust Vivian or protect Lily at all costs, comment below before the next part. And subscribe, because the truth behind that photograph is about to change everything Nathan thought he knew about the people closest to him. The lights went out. Lily heard the lock click. She stepped backward from the door. Eleanor. No answer. Then came 3 soft knocks. Lily, it's me. Eleanor's voice. Calm. Familiar. Almost comforting. But Lily remembered Nathan's warning. Don't open it. Eleanor knocked again. Lily, I need you to open the door. Lily backed toward the desk. Why? I need to get you somewhere safe. Lily stared at the door. How do I know it's really you? Silence. Then Eleanor answered. You don't. Lily's heart pounded. Across the city, Nathan was driving faster than he ever had. He called the Foundation's emergency security line. Nothing. He called the police. Then he called Vivian. She answered immediately. Where is she? At the Foundation. Then she's in danger. You knew this would happen. I suspected. Nathan's voice hardened. Stop protecting yourself. Tell me everything. Vivian took a breath. Daniel isn't working alone. Who is he working with? I don't know. You just said you knew. I knew someone inside your organization was helping him. I didn't know who. Nathan glanced at his phone. The photograph of Lily was still on the screen. Then how did you know tonight would happen? Because Daniel contacted me yesterday. Nathan's jaw tightened. What did he say? He told me you had finally found the file. Nathan's blood ran cold. What file? The one your mother left behind. Nathan nearly missed a turn. My mother didn't leave a file. That's what Daniel wanted you to believe. Vivian, what did my mother know? Her voice softened. She knew who Daniel really was. Nathan remembered his childhood. His mother working 2 jobs. The small apartment. The unpaid bills. The night she became seriously ill. And Daniel. The young businessman who had appeared unexpectedly and paid the hospital bill. Nathan had always remembered him as the stranger who saved his family. But now that memory felt poisoned. Why would he help my mother? Vivian answered quietly. Because he knew what you would become. Nathan said nothing. He didn't save you because he was kind. Vivian continued. He invested in you. Nathan's hands tightened around the steering wheel. What does that mean? It means your first company wasn't entirely yours. The words hit him harder than any accusation. You're lying. I wish I were. My company was built from nothing. That's what Daniel wanted you to believe. Nathan felt something inside him collapse. For 10 years, I thought I ended our engagement because you were cruel. Vivian was silent. You were cruel, Nathan continued. You humiliated Lily. I know. You made me hate you. I needed you to hate me. Why? Because if you loved me, you would have trusted me. Nathan stared ahead. Then why didn't you tell me? Vivian's voice cracked. Because Daniel threatened Lily. Nathan slammed his fist against the steering wheel. What? He knew you cared about her. He knew you'd do anything to protect her. So you pushed me away. Yes. By humiliating a child? I thought you'd never forgive me. You were right. I know. Nathan's voice became quiet. But you were wrong about one thing. What? I would have listened. Vivian didn't answer. Nathan ended the call. At the Foundation, Lily heard footsteps outside her office. One step, then another. She grabbed her phone. No signal. The door handle moved. She backed away. Suddenly, the emergency lights flickered on. For 1 second, she saw the hallway. Empty. Then a figure stepped into view. Lily gasped. Eleanor. The woman stood perfectly still. Then she raised both hands. Lily, don't be afraid. Lily didn't move. Why did you lock me in? I didn't. You did. Eleanor looked genuinely confused. No. I came here because Nathan called me. Lily stared at her. He's the one who told me not to trust you. Eleanor's expression changed. Then someone has been using my name. A sound came from the stairwell. Both women turned. Someone was coming. Eleanor immediately stepped in front of Lily. Stay behind me. The footsteps grew louder. Then a man emerged from the darkness. Daniel Cross. Lily's face went pale. Daniel? He smiled sadly. I was hoping you wouldn't have to find out this way. Eleanor stepped forward. Don't come any closer. Daniel looked at her. Eleanor, move. No. You don't understand. I understand enough. Daniel sighed. Nathan has spent 10 years believing the wrong story. Lily's voice trembled. What story? Daniel looked at her. The story that he saved you. Lily frowned. What does that mean? Daniel pulled a small envelope from his coat. I saved him first. Eleanor's expression hardened. Don't listen to him. Daniel looked at Lily. Your mother knows. Lily froze. My mother. Maria knew everything. The world seemed to tilt. Lily shook her head. You're lying. Daniel slowly placed the envelope on the floor. Then asked her. He stepped backward. Eleanor moved toward him. You're not leaving. Daniel smiled. I already have. A fire alarm suddenly erupted. Sprinklers burst from the ceiling. Water poured through the hallway. The lights flickered. Lily screamed as smoke began filling the corridor. Eleanor grabbed her hand. Run. They raced toward the emergency exit. Outside, Nathan's car screeched to a stop. He jumped out before it fully settled. Lily. She ran toward him. Nathan grabbed her tightly. Are you hurt? No. Did he touch you? No. Nathan looked past her. Where is Daniel? He left. Nathan's eyes moved toward Eleanor. Did you see him? Eleanor nodded. He said something. What? He said Maria knew everything. Nathan froze. Lily looked at him. Mr. Nathan. What? I think we need to ask my mother what really happened 20 years ago. Nathan looked toward the burning foundation. The building could be repaired. The files could be replaced. Money could fix almost anything. But the truth waiting for them at Maria's house was something money couldn't erase. When they arrived, Maria was standing at the front door. She had clearly been waiting. The moment she saw Nathan, her face fell. Then she saw Lily. Her eyes filled with tears. I was hoping this day would never come. Nathan stepped closer. How much did you know? Maria looked at Lily. Then at Nathan. I wanted to tell you. When? Maria's voice trembled. When Lily turned 18. Nathan stared at her. Why didn't you? Because Daniel told me what would happen if I did. Lily stepped forward. What did he threaten? Maria closed her eyes. Your life. Silence. Nathan felt his stomach turn. Maria finally walked inside and opened an old wooden cabinet. From behind a false panel, she removed a small metal box. She placed it on the table. I've kept this for 20 years. Nathan stared at it. What's inside? Maria looked directly at him. The proof that your entire empire began with a lie. She opened the box. Inside was a photograph, a handwritten contract, and one old cassette tape. Nathan picked up the contract. His face changed, because at the bottom of the page was his mother's signature. And beside it was Daniel Cross's. Lily whispered, What did my mother sign? Maria looked at them both. She sold something to save Nathan's life. Nathan stared at her. What? Maria's eyes filled with tears. She didn't sell your company. She paused. She sold the truth. Then someone knocked on the door. 3 slow knocks. Maria immediately dropped the photograph. She whispered, He's here. Nathan turned toward the door. Who? Maria's face had gone completely white. Daniel. And this time, Daniel wasn't alone. The 3rd knock never came. Instead, the front door opened. Nathan stepped in front of Lily. Maria moved backward. Eleanor reached for her phone. Then a familiar voice came from the hallway. Nobody needs to be afraid. Daniel Cross walked into the room. But he wasn't alone. Behind him stood two investigators from the Sterling Foundation's legal department. Nathan stared at them. What is this? Daniel looked exhausted. Not triumphant. Not threatening. Exhausted. I came because you deserve the truth. Nathan's voice hardened. You've had 20 years to give it to me. I know. You manipulated my company. I did. You watched Lily. I protected her. Nathan took a step toward him. You don't get to call that protection. Daniel didn't move. You're right. That answer stopped Nathan. Daniel looked at Lily. I never wanted you involved in this. Lily folded her arms. Then tell me why my mother was afraid of you. Daniel looked toward Maria. Because she knows what I did. Maria lowered her head. Nathan picked up the old contract. Explain this. Daniel took a breath. Your mother was dying. Your family had no money. The hospital refused further treatment. Nathan remembered. He had been 8. He remembered his mother's hand. Her voice. The smell of hospital disinfectant. Daniel had appeared with money. Nathan had spent his entire life believing that was the moment a stranger saved his family. Daniel continued. I paid the bill. Nathan nodded. Yes, but there was a condition. Maria closed her eyes. Nathan looked at the contract again. What condition? Daniel answered quietly. Your mother agreed to let me use her research. Nathan froze. What research? The business model that eventually became Sterling Global. Nathan's eyes widened. His mother had worked as an accountant. He had always assumed she knew nothing about business. But the documents revealed something different. She had developed a revolutionary financial system for helping small businesses obtain funding without predatory interest rates. Daniel had taken the concept. Years later, Nathan had built an empire using an expanded version of it. You stole her work. Daniel shook his head. No. Nathan's anger rose. Then what do you call it? I bought the rights. You bought them from a dying woman who needed her son to survive. Daniel looked down. Yes. And then you watched me build a company around it. I helped you build it. Nathan laughed bitterly. You want credit now? No. Daniel looked directly at him. I want you to understand why I did it. Nathan waited. Daniel continued. Your mother didn't want you to know because she was afraid you'd spend your entire life believing your success belonged to someone else. Nathan stared at him. She wanted me to believe I earned it. Because you did. Daniel placed another document on the table. This is the part nobody told you. Nathan picked it up. His eyes moved across the page. Daniel had transferred the intellectual rights to Nathan when he was 23. For $1. Nathan looked up. Why? Because your mother was right. Daniel's voice cracked. You were never my investment. He pointed toward Nathan. You were my second chance. The room went silent. Daniel explained everything. He had taken the original idea, expanded it, and helped Nathan launch his first company. But once Nathan proved he could succeed without him, Daniel stepped away. The problem came later. Investors wanted control. Competitors wanted the technology. Daniel had secretly remained involved to protect Nathan's company. Then Vivian discovered the old documents. She learned that Daniel's enemies were preparing to expose the origin of the business. If they succeeded, Nathan could have lost everything. Not because the company was illegal, because the story surrounding it could destroy his reputation. Vivian panicked. She made a terrible choice. She decided the only way to protect Nathan was to make him hate her. But there was another secret. Daniel's enemies had discovered Lily, and they planned to use her to pressure Nathan. Vivian had deliberately humiliated Lily in public because she knew Nathan would end the relationship immediately. She needed him separated from her before the threats escalated. Nathan stared at Vivian's letter. For 10 years, he had believed she was simply cruel. Now he understood something more complicated. She had done something terrible for a reason. But that didn't erase what she had done. Nathan looked at Daniel. You should have told me. I know. You should have trusted me. I know. You let me believe Vivian was the only villain. Daniel's eyes dropped. Because I was afraid you'd go after the people behind her. Nathan's expression hardened. Who are they? Daniel didn't answer. Eleanor suddenly stepped forward. I know. Everyone turned. She reached into her bag and pulled out a folder. I found this 2 years ago. Nathan stared at her. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't know who I could trust. She opened the folder. Inside were financial transfers, names, shell companies, offshore accounts, and one name appeared repeatedly. Vivian Laurent. Nathan's expression changed. She was involved? Eleanor shook her head. Not voluntarily. She pointed to the transactions. Someone was moving money through her family's foundation. Daniel nodded. That's what I was trying to stop. Nathan finally understood. The engagement party wasn't simply a social disaster. It had been the moment several people realized Vivian's family was compromised. And Lily had accidentally become the one thing everyone could use against Nathan. Nathan turned toward Lily. She had been listening quietly. Are you okay? She nodded. Then she looked at Vivian's photograph. She wasn't nice to me. Nathan said nothing. But she protected me. Yes. Lily looked at him. Can both things be true? Nathan took a breath. Yes. Lily nodded. Then she should have apologized. Nathan looked at her. You're right. That was the lesson he had spent 10 years learning. Forgiveness didn't require pretending something never happened. Kindness didn't mean ignoring wrongdoing. And wealth didn't give anyone the right to control another person's life. Nathan picked up his phone. I'm calling Vivian. Daniel looked surprised. Why? Because she deserves the chance to tell me the truth herself. The call connected. Vivian answered after one ring. Hello. Nathan closed his eyes. It's over. Silence. I know. But I'm listening now. Vivian began to cry. I never wanted Lily hurt. I know. I wanted you safe. You should have trusted me. I was afraid. So was I. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Nathan said something he had never expected to say. I forgive you. Vivian's breath caught. But I don't forget. I don't expect you to. And we don't go back. I know. The call ended. Nathan looked at Lily. She was holding the original paper flower. The same flower she had made 10 years earlier. She had kept it. The petals were faded. The paper was fragile. But she had protected it all these years. Nathan smiled. You still have that? Lily nodded. You told me it was beautiful. It was. She smiled. Then I kept it. Months later, Nathan stood in front of a crowd at the opening of a new community center. But this wasn't another billion-dollar project. There were no luxury cars. No celebrities. No champagne towers. Just families. Children. Teachers. Architects. People who had been given opportunities they never thought they'd have. Lily had designed the building. Maria had chosen the scholarship recipients. Eleanor had rebuilt the foundation's security system. And Daniel had disappeared from public life. Before Nathan cut the ribbon, Lily handed him something. A new paper flower. This one was made from an old financial document. Nathan looked at it. What's this? She smiled. It's made from the first page of the old contract. Nathan laughed. You're turning my worst memory into decoration? No. She shook her head. I'm turning it into a reminder. Of what? Lily looked at the building behind them. That something can start wrong and still end right. Nathan stared at her. Then he smiled. The billionaire who once measured success in companies and billions now stood surrounded by people whose lives had nothing to do with his bank account. And for the first time, he didn't feel like the richest person in the room. He felt like the luckiest. Years earlier, a little girl had walked into a ballroom carrying a paper flower. Everyone else had seen a child who didn't belong. Nathan eventually understood that she had been the person who belonged there most. Because she reminded him of something his fortune had nearly made him forget. A person's value isn't determined by the room they're allowed to enter. It's determined by the goodness they carry into it. And sometimes the greatest wealth isn't inherited. It is given away. If this story made you see Nathan's decision differently, comment below. Would you have forgiven Vivian? And if you believe kindness should matter more than money, status, or power, subscribe and like the video. Because Nathan Sterling learned something that no business deal could ever teach him. You can spend a lifetime building a fortune and still be poor until you learn what it's worth sharing.